back. It should look rather splendid and nice. And hey, what is going on? Welcome to another video on my channel. I've been away for a couple of weeks, but there's a very good reason for that. And that reason is that we are moving to Switzerland in about, I think, a month, which isn't that far in the future. And that's actually quite crazy. For the past months, I've been working my ass off so that me and Melissa can move to Switzerland. I have a job now. I have just received the yes for the new flat and everything is set in place. That was so much work. And that's also kind of what this video is going to be about. We always hear it. Train in Zone 2 is the key to endurance. Build your aerobic base. But is Zone 2 always the best choice? And the answer is actually no, because there are times where Zone 2 can be an absolute waste of your time. So let's break down when Zone 2 is a waste of time and when you're better off pushing a little harder. So training zones are one of the most powerful tools in running. So today we're going to talk about what each training zone actually does, when exactly Zone 2 is king, and when it's not worth focusing on. So let's quickly run through the 5 basic training zones together. Zone 1, recovery. Very easy, helps blood flow, could potentially be very good for recovery if you don't overdo it. Zone 2, aerobic base building. Teaches your body to use fat for fuel and improves efficiency. Zone 3, the gray zone. Moderately hard, builds endurance, but also running strength. Zone 4, threshold, builds your ability to hold faster paces for longer. And Zone 5, VO2 max. Short, painful, and all about speed and power. The most aggressive one and the one that you won't be able to hold for a long period of time. So those are the training zones. Now, most endurance athletes are going to spend 70 to 80% of the time in Zone 2. And that for a very good reason. It's incredibly effective if you have the time and consistency. Zone 2 can become your best friend if you're in a consistent training block. Running 5 to even 6 times a week. Running 60 to 100 plus kilometers per week. You're building an aerobic base for a marathon or just long-term performance growth. The whole point of Zone 2 training is accumulating more training volume without burning out. Finding the point where you can just bump up the volume week by week by week by week without destroying your body. And building that extremely resilient, strong aerobic base. But for that to be reasonable and logical, makes sense, you need the time, the volume, and the consistency. So if you're in a base phase, have plenty of time, and you're trying to improve your aerobic efficiency, Zone 2 is golden. But here's where people get it wrong. Zone 2 training only works if you can accumulate enough of it. If you're running 2 to 3 times a week, 30 to 40 minutes each time, Zone 2 won't do much, if anything. Yes, you're gonna hold your performance, but increase? Nah, not really. At some point, there's just gonna be stagnation forever. Think of it like cooking something. If you turn up the heat for a short moment of time, and then just turn it down again, the food couldn't even heat up. It couldn't even heat up, and you then repeat that a couple of times, and it never reaches the critical point of temperature where it's actually starting to simmer and developing flavor and starts to get edible. You won't reach that point. You're not stimulating your body enough for it to adapt in the right direction. But let's get a real life example from me, because the past months have been all over the place for me and I had to implement this. So for the past month, or actually a little bit more than a month, I've been traveling to Switzerland and back, and to Switzerland again and back, looking at flats, applying for jobs, doing this and that, just traveling a lot. My schedule was all over the place, and when I came back here, I was completely destroyed for a couple of days and couldn't do anything. So I wasn't running a lot, and I was definitely not adhering to my regular running routine, my regular schedule of running 5 times a week. No fucking chance I was able to do that. And when I was in Switzerland, there was no way I was going to do a 90-minute or 2-hour long run focusing on Zone 2 to keep my aerobic base, the level of performance where it currently was. Too much time, too much stress, too much it just wasn't gonna happen. No way. So what I did instead was focusing on shorter but very intense sessions. Every run that I hit was something between 30 to maybe 50 minutes in duration. But I was keeping the intensity far higher than usual. Zone 3 and 4 was the name of the game. And that worked very well. Yes, a Zone 3 or 4 run is far more exhausting and fatiguing than a Zone 2 run, obviously. But if you're only running 1, 2 or 3 times a week because you're very stressed, on the go, traveling a lot, or just have a lot on your mind and can't find the time, pushing it harder is the only way you're going to maintain your performance. And through running once or twice, just pushing the paces a little harder, having higher efforts, I actually managed to maintain my performance quite well, which amazed me. And I couldn't have done the same with Zone 2 running. No chance. Okay, but how do you choose the right training zone for your specific needs? So here's a very, very simple rule of thumb. Plenty of time, consistent schedule, focus on zone 2 as the base. 80% of that, 20% hard stuff. You're gonna be good to go and you're gonna make some really decent progress. But keep in mind, enough volume, enough time on feet, that is a requirement. Limited time, inconsistent training schedule. You'll have to prioritize zone 3 and 4, so threshold, speed work, intervals. These things are gonna carry your ass through these inconsistent times. Very high training stimulus in a short, compact amount of time. You're just gonna get the most bang for your buck. But yes, I'm aware of what you're thinking. That's not gonna give me the best results, and that's not gonna be the way I'm gonna be a sub-3 marathoner, a 2:30 marathon, whatever. And you're absolutely right with that. But if you are in a position where you can only run once, twice, 3 times a week, you're never gonna reach that point no matter what. Running just isn't the highest priority for you, and the highest priority is just to get the best or most bang for your buck, and you're gonna get the most bang for your buck pushing the paces, being in zone 3 and 4. That's for sure. And just to round it off nicely, I'm gonna add the returning from injury or burnout segment, because if you had a break from running, now reintroducing it into your life, you shouldn't jump into zone 3 or 4 running just because you have a limited amount of time. You should start with zone 1 or 2, just easing your way into it and giving your body the necessary time to adapt. Otherwise, you're gonna be destroyed after the first sessions. It's just not about one being better. It's about what fits your current lifestyle and priorities. So the next time that somebody tells you, you need to run in zone 2, remember, it depends. Training is all about context. If you've got time, go slow and build that engine. If not, train smart and get the most out of your minutes. Like, get the most bang for your buck. This is one of the few times where training harder actually could be training smarter. So get the most out of your limited training time and push it. And if you found this video helpful, please leave a like and subscribe, and leave in the comments down below how you personally structure your training week. Quite curious to see how you implement all of this into your daily life. Thanks for watching, and see you guys for next week's video. Bye! I have a hair in my mouth. I had hair in my mouth. I think from the thingy here. Disgusting.